We note that in Germany, representatives of the authorities continue to unjustifiably harass Russian citizens and compatriots under the pretext of complying with European Union restrictions on the export of so-called sanctioned goods from Germany. As is well known, these restrictions also apply to items for personal use, including single items purchased for personal use or as gifts. If such items are found, the German authorities consider themselves entitled to seize and detain them, draw up a report, and forward the materials to the competent authorities for a decision on punishment, including the possibility of criminal liability. The extent of legal arbitrariness towards Russians is clearly illustrated by a recent incident at Stuttgart Airport. A Russian citizen returning home from a business trip was subjected to a humiliating and biased inspection by German customs officials. Citing an alleged violation of sanctions regulations, her clothing, personal belongings, and cash were irrevocably confiscated. In simple terms, the authorities robbed her in broad daylight and attempted to legitimize it. Due to bureaucratic delays in drawing up the seizure report, she missed her flight and was forced to purchase new tickets to return home. At the same time, the customs officer did not conceal his hostility towards the Russian woman, behaved offensively, and shouted at her. To top it all off, customs officials advised her to go to court if she believed her rights had been violated. If one says in Germany that a boy is a boy at birth, a girl is a girl at birth, that there is no third gender, and that dozens of genders do not exist, one is accused of intolerance. Yet when a person carrying personal belongings is robbed and shouted at, expressing overt nationalism, this is treated as normal behavior. In such cases, tolerance is apparently not required, and human rights are deemed inapplicable from the perspective of official German authorities. They understood that the victim, who lives in another country, was unlikely to initiate legal proceedings in Germany, and therefore acted as they did. There is also little reason to expect an objective and comprehensive review of cases involving alleged violations of the sanctions regime against Russians. Subsequent appeals by Russian consular representatives to the German authorities requesting clarification on the grounds for the detention of our compatriot and the fate of the seized items have gone unanswered. Not only ordinary citizens, but also public figures are falling victim to the arbitrariness of the German authorities. A similar incident occurred just a few days ago at Munich Airport involving Russian footballer and Zenit coach Sergei Bogdanovich Semak. Such cases are far from isolated. The Federal Republic of Germany has effectively turned into a lawless territory for people of a certain nationality, namely Russians. The civil rights whose inviolability European human rights activists often invoke are rendered meaningless when it comes to our compatriots, particularly citizens of the Russian Federation. German law enforcement officers have effectively become punitive agents, persecuting Russians with obsessive persistence. They openly mock them and make no attempt to conceal it. We strongly urge our citizens to refrain from traveling to Germany unless absolutely necessary. This recommendation has been published on the official websites of the Ministry and relevant foreign institutions. This warning may also be relevant for journalists sent to Germany on assignment. There are serious problems, and they are obvious. A question to the German authorities remains: will they address these problems, or do they believe that everything is acceptable as it stands? Let me remind you that there have been periods in German history when authorities treated such nationalist manifestations as a new norm. This ultimately led to a global catastrophe.